So today I wanted to react to the MARTA bus driver getting shot and killed in Decatur over a fare of $2.50, which is very tragic. This hits me because I used to work for MARTA. And if you don't believe me, I'm just going to show some receipts. This is my certificate for passing the professional bus operator. So yeah, I used to work for MARTA. I am a CDL Class B driver. And this has always been a topic for discussion for a lot of bus drivers. And this is not the first, I want to say, incident that happened between a bus driver and a passenger. So let me put on my headphones and we can get to it.
And tonight we start with some breaking news coming out of DeKalb County. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jonathan Martin. According to police tonight, someone shot and killed a MARTA bus driver in Decatur tonight. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is live for us near the Decatur station where that shooting happened. Cody, I know you just spoke with investigators, and they're telling you this all happened over a fight concerning bus fare?
That's right, Jonathan. Absolutely senseless is what this is. The chief telling me, as you just mentioned, this was over a $2.50 fare. Apparently, three individuals tried to get on this bus. They did not want to pay the driver, and that is when this dispute happened and went off the bus where this driver was shot. Take a look at this video from someone who actually walked by this scene. I mean, we're only 500 feet, Jonathan, from Decatur Square, right here in downtown. So a lot of people saw the commotion here. We do know at this hour that two suspects have been captured. The chief says they were fighting with this driver. However, again, the actual shooter is still on the loose tonight. The chief saying they do have drones up and Decatur police helping them search for this person. As you mentioned, I talked to the chief here just after 9:30 who says all of this, again, absolutely senseless.
We get a lot of these where individuals want to ride free or want to ride at a discount, and the operators let them know that, it is a $2.50 fare. And unfortunately, this $2.50 cost our operator's life. This is tragic.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, I will say, in training, they do say that your job is not really to argue and fight over the fare, because that $2 fare does not pay your salary. The government funding and everything else like that pays the bus driver's salary. So they do say that in training. Now, I don't know whether they told this driver that. I don't know. But when we was in training, they told us this. And this is something that I had already knew as a previous we call it city line bus driver from my hometown. I didn't argue over, I think at that time it was like $1 and something. I didn't argue over that. I asked you for the fare. If you didn't get the fare, oh well. I'm dropping you off and I'm driving you to the next stop. I don't really care. They don't really pay enough for me to argue over $2.50. That's just how I feel. Some other bus drivers, they feel differently. They feel like if guys come on and they're not paying, et cetera, they can kind of lose their authority over that bus. Meaning if some rowdy people come on and they don't pay, they kind of lose their authority. They come on and they do whatever they want to do on the bus. And they feel like they kind of lose that authority that they're looking for on that bus. Because listen, when you're on that bus, you are the supervisor, you are the conductor, you are security, you are everything. When you're the bus driver, you're everything. So a lot of bus drivers feel like that. Then you're not allowed to have any weapons on the bus. I know a lot of bus drivers personally that disobey those rules because of this right here that we're looking at, this tragic situation. And just imagine if this bus driver would have had his gun on him. He could have defended himself in self-defense. He probably would have lost his job, but what's a job compared to your life? So that's why I know a lot of bus drivers, they got that thing on them. They got that thing on them. They got that thing on them.
We don't take this lightly. It's very tragic to see how verbal altercations in today's time turn into immediate violence with handguns. And that's becoming the norm in our society, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to solve that at some point.
We know this happened just after 6:30. Most of the scene has wrapped up here behind me. At least one officer still patrolling this area. We don't have an update on that search. As far as the victim here, the chief not ready to release this man's name, says he's only been driving for MARTA for about 2 years. A lot of people ask about training.
Wow, so about 2 years. So I started, this is crazy. So I got this certification in 2021. And my specific trainer taught us this. So I know they probably taught him this also. But like I said before, some bus drivers, feel differently. And then also we don't even know how he even said it or how he even approached it. Like we don't even know whether he just mentioned it and they was just kind of going off on him. You know what I'm saying? We don't know whether, yeah, we just don't know, and I don't think the footage. MARTA has the footage because all the buses have cameras and things like that. So, and then another thing that's stupid too. It's so stupid. So, this is the reason why me personally, I don't work there no more. And let me switch this camera angle. This is personally the reason why I don't work here anymore, because I felt like it was dangerous. During training, it was me and my friend. We're still friends to this day. She was from California. Or Las Vegas, one of them. And we was training in this in the training facility. We would just walk around, just trying to get familiar with everything. And we would look on the walls. And on the walls, it was like a police station. And it had wanted posters. So we was looking, we was like, what is this? So yeah, we was looking, we was like, what is this? And they was like, oh yeah, those passengers are like wanted, banned from the bus. And we're sitting here, we're reading all of these like posters, and they was like wanted posters. And it was like, wanted. This man pulled out a gun on the bus driver and blah, 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 blah. This was in 2021. Wanted. This bus driver pulled out a knife, blah, 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 this and this and this. Wanted. This bus driver threatened the bus driver life and blah, 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 blah. On and on and on. Now, this was just one station. In Atlanta, there's like, I want to say like three main stations. This was one station. Had all of these wanted. And me and my friend, we was just looking. We was just like, we got to get up out of here. Because we're new. We're coming on. They gonna stick us on the worst route ever with the thugs, the drug dealers. They gonna stick us on the worst route ever. We need to get up out of here. And so, after training, after we got out of training, I think I did maybe 2 routes. After training. The third route, the first route, during my OJT, on the job training, the bus driver had to call the cops. And the bus driver, she was doing too much. But what got me was that the police never showed up. You have to understand that the police didn't show up. Other than the police didn't show up, MARTA police didn't show up, because MARTA has its own police. So Atlanta Police Department didn't show up, and MARTA Police Department didn't show up. So that kind of let me know that, like, when you're out here driving, like, you on your own. By the time something happen, by the time something go down, it's too late. You on your own out here. Like, you really ain't got the backup like you think you got the backup. And so that's what that showed me right there. But yeah, and so I later on I went on, and like I say, I did like 2 routes by myself. And it was other problems. The pay, they don't pay enough. the bus drivers get the same amount as the railroad drivers, the rail drivers, which is silly to me, because the rail drivers rail drivers should make more than actual bus drivers, but they don't. So what a lot of people do is they go to MARTA, they get on the rail side, and then once they get on the rail side, they move to New York, or they move elsewhere, and where they can make money. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, MARTA doesn't pay enough, especially to deal with this type of stuff. They just don't pay enough, in my personal opinion. And a lot of people, I know during that year, they had a lot of turnover. My class, I want to say maybe two people lasted out of my training class. Out of we had 12, maybe two people lasted. Everybody just was getting up out of there because it was ridiculous. So let's keep on going.
30. Most of the scene has wrapped up here behind me. At least one officer still patrolling this area. We don't have an update on that search. As far as the victim here, the chief not ready to release this man's name, says he's only been driving for MARTA for about 2 years. A lot of people ask about training. We're told these drivers do undergo escalation training to de-escalate situations, but he said sometimes.
Now, see, I don't know about that. Me personally, I didn't go through any type of de-escalation training. But I will say, once again, that me personally, I'm not arguing over $2.50. I'm just not. Especially when you're going to get off my bus in 15 minutes at the most. 15 minutes, you're gonna be off my bus. Get off my bus. Bye. I'm not arguing over $2.50. I'm just not. But that doesn't excuse a person getting shot and killed. It's just ridiculous. And I don't know what I don't know what they're gonna do. But bus driving, in my opinion, that industry, unless they do something, and bus drivers, we've been trying to really get the transportation authority to really recognize drivers as almost like pilots, and treat them like they do the pilots. As far as just isolation, you should only be focused on driving. Like being a bus driver, and I've driven, like I say, I've driven MARTA before. I've driven City Line buses in my hometown, and I've driven the Megabus. I drove the Megabus for about 7 years. And so the thing about driving a bus is that you not only have to worry about the road and the people on the road, you have to worry about the passengers and what the passengers are doing and controlling the passengers. They may get rowdy. They may do this and do that. And understand, and the Megabus holds 81 people. And so imagine you on a full bus, a fight break out or arguing breaks out or anything, and you're driving on a busy highway, and you have to deal with all of that. You're not isolated from that. You're right there. Me personally, I think they should change the way they even design these buses. I believe that, like I said before, a bus driver should be treated like a pilot in an airplane. That driving area is the cockpit. Nobody should be able to visit that cockpit area. You should have helpers on the bus. Now, I will say that overseas, I recently visited Kenya. Their bus drivers or whatever, they have helpers that help them. They treat their bus. Their buses are more like trains, where they have almost like ticket agents, people that collect the fare and make sure you're not too rowdy, make sure things of that. And so the driver can really focus on driving and not focus on everything else. So, I really think we should do that. But like I said before, they're not going to do it unless something tragic happen. And that's the sad thing. Something tragic is gonna have to happen until they change it. Until they change it. It's just like, I mean, unfortunately, just like 9/11. It took that. It took that for us to really hone down on security, securities, flights, and everything else like that. It's unfortunate, and I really wish that they would just. I really wish they would just make the change without something happening. I really do. But yeah, that's my opinion. Bus drivers should be treated like pilots.
And we are told that those suspects were the ones who started it. That's what police believe. They believe they were the initial aggressors. As I mentioned, there's a couple of cop cars around here, but they have cleared the scene for the most part. They are still searching for that gunman, and they likely will be doing or adding I should say they have canines that are searching for this gunman as well as drones. So still a lot going on. We're going to stay out here and gather more information and give you more as soon as we learn any more. For now, we're live in Decatur. Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
And you know, the thing about like anything public is that you're going to have a lot of like riffraff being integrated into that. I remember interviewing for Greyhound. And if y'all don't know Greyhound, the station is like, I think it's like right across the street from Magic City in the hood, right? And so I pull up, I'm in a suit and tie, pull up or whatever. And I get out, and the first thing I notice, I look to my right, my left, I see somebody trapping. And they just got a fistful of money, and they just carry. Give me 2 bricks. Give me 2 bricks. And then yeah. So they conducting. I'm walking by, and they just conducting like drug business right outside. I'm like. I'm feeling out of place because I'm in a whole suit. So anyway, I walk in the Greyhound station, and of course I've been in the Greyhound station. I've been in the Greyhound station at my in my hometown, and it didn't look bad. Like it didn't look bad at all. But anyway, I walked in this one, and I looked around. And first thing, like the lights were like dim. It almost looked like, if y'all ever seen any drug movie ever, the lights was dim. It looked like a crack house. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like a crack house, and the people in it looked like, unfortunately, maybe it was how the lights was. They was looking bad. I ain't gonna lie. It was looking bad. It was looking like a crack house. That's how it was looking. So I walked in with my suit, and I'm looking. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this. So I think it was I don't know, concierge or whatever. Hey, I'm here for an interview. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get the manager or whatever. Manager came out. He's like, okay, come on to the office or whatever. Went to the office, and I went in the office, and I'm looking around, and the office is even darker than outside, and I'm just looking. Stuff is everywhere. Oh my God, like stuff is everywhere. They got a box fan. The box fan got like dust all in it. The chair that I'm sitting in is like, the leather is like ate up. So the foam is the chair's like half foam, half like pleather or leather. It's dingy, it's dark, it's dusty. I'm uncomfortable. So anyway, of course I didn't take the job. But it's funny how when you look at Greyhound has a station. You can go to that station and you can purchase a ticket cash. Now, like I said before, like I told y'all before, I used to work for Megabus. So Megabus, you couldn't pay cash. You had to pay card, and preferably you had to pay online. And it's crazy how adding that like hurdle of paying online and paying with a card changes your whole customer base. It changes your whole customer base because Greyhound customer base is, and I don't want to sound like insensitive because I rode the Greyhound before. Like I don't want to say like I'm like so above Greyhound, but I've rode Greyhound before, and I didn't really have a problem when I rode it. I didn't ride it to from Atlanta or whatever, but and maybe it's different stations, different cities, different demographics. Maybe it's just that, but the one in Atlanta, oh my God, it's a lot of riffraff. Not everybody, but it's a lot of riffraff that goes on. And it's funny how the different demographics. So the moral of the story is when you have something open to the public transit and everything else like that, you just get a lot of people, a lot of bad people filtered in with a lot of good people. And this shooting right here is the main reason why a lot of these cities, Alpharetta and all these, northern cities up here, they don't really want MARTA up there. They don't want the train up there. It's too easy to gain access. And I kind of understand it. It's too easy for riffraff to gain access to it. Yeah, it's just a little bit too easy. So anyway, condolences to the driver's family. And hopefully, I don't know what MARTA is what rules or regulations MARTA is doing. Afterwards, this is about, but I'm doing this video like a month, no, maybe 3 months after this happened. So I don't know what rule or whatever they've changed or whatever, or maybe they didn't change any rule at all. So, but anyway, I'll holler at y'all next time in the next video. So peace.